This is Gutherie with Sofa King News, and I am here with
Ryan from Miss May I.
Miss May I. Just got done playing a little bit ago, yeah? Mayhem Fest almost coming to an end here. How's the tour treating you guys so far?
It's been nuts, man. Been a wild tour for us. We flew straight in from Europe to get started. We were doing crazy festivals over there, like all the big ones, playing with like Rob Zombie and blah blah blah. You know, on and on and on. Giant rock and metal acts. And then we flew over here and then started one with Avenged Sevenfold and Korn. So literally the whole summer has been insane. These shows are great. So today was a good example of how it is every single day. Minus today wins for the hottest by far.
Did you guys play in Phoenix?
Yeah, this destroys how hot it was in Phoenix. Today was unbelievable.
Having just come off like doing the European festivals and then coming here to America, obviously the festival scene has been huge in Europe for decades and decades. And it's, I mean, there's been Ozfest here and Warped Tour, of course, but for like more underground acts, coming up, this is kind of really starting to take off. How have you noticed it kind of grow like over like the recent span of time?
Well, when we first heard about Mayhem was when we were doing the Vans Warped Tour circuit. And the Vans Warped Tour circuit still has some now, but the 2 years we did it, a lot of our friends in fucking metal ass bands are doing Warped Tour, and some of that stuff just doesn't translate to a lot of those kids. But then we started hearing about Mayhem Festival, and then it was guys like Born of Osiris were over here first, and Whitechapel and Amir and all these guys that we were touring with were over here doing this festival, and that you talk to them afterwards and you're like, how was that tour, blah blah blah, tell me about it. They're like, it's a perfect scenario for a metal band. You've got the giant metal bands at the top of the bill playing the amphitheater, then you've got, like in our case, we've got legends like Cannibal Corpse on the same stage as us. We would never get to play with a band like that on a venue tour, most likely, and then you come on this tour and you're rubbing shoulders with them, you're hanging out with them, having dinner, having drinks. It's exactly what you need in America.
Primary difference between the audience response to you guys on this tour versus Warped Tour?
Warped Tour, we were an extremely established band in that scene. We were a main stage act in 2012, so we were one of the high drawing bands. They expected us to draw. We were one of the big names on the flyer. Everything about Warped Tour 2012 and 2011, we were a quick up-and-coming band on that side of things. And we come over here and we have a very big established fan base, but in the grand scheme of things, at a show with 20,000 people, a vast majority of them have no idea who we are. So we're playing for a good chunk of people who know who we are, but the cool thing is we're winning over tons and tons of people who never would have even heard of our band had we not got the chance to play this. Warped Tour, you might have some guys who don't like metal out there, you might have some guys who are just getting into it. There's no question, when you look out at a crowd here, every single person came here for the same reason, and it's to listen to a bunch of badass metal bands.
So, new album, Rise of the Lion. First, tell me about the guy who got the tattoo.
Alright, so the tattoos were coming in, and we were looking for a way to tie in our record cover to the fans. So all these fans were coming to shows with our band's emblem tattooed on them anyway. We figured we wanted a tattoo on the cover of the record, but we needed a great photo of it. So how do you do that? You just find a really cool fan and then you just set their tattoo up for him. So we found a fan. He was a fucking giant dude to begin with. So he has a giant back and he wanted a back piece of this tattoo. So we got the emblem, gigantic in the small of his back. They got great photos, video of it, ended up in the first music video. Now he's a homie and he comes to shows. And
that's dedication right there, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the thought process as far as going into this to try and diversify the sound a little bit and bring a little bit different stuff to the new album?
I think one thing we worried about when we finished the third one as the dudes in the band, all you do when you're in a band is when you finish a record is just sit there and judge it, just sit there and talk about all the things you wish you could have done or you would have done. And the one thing that we really wanted to do was we wanted a more exciting record overall where you didn't hear the same same song over and over. So we basically, when we went to the studio, when we wrote, it caused some tension. We were arguing a lot while pushing it out, but we wanted to make sure we were writing different songs. Where if you listen to track 3, you don't get to track 7 and go like, haven't I heard this? You know, we wanted every song to have its own special character, and that was tough. It took us to write some of those songs being so different. You know, we had to really like push on each other to get that kind of stuff to come out of us. But
well, it's easy to get locked into a successful formula when it's worked for you in the past, and you can sometimes artistic growth can be a little painful on the interpersonal front.
And who we recorded with helped a lot too. You know, we did the record with Terry Date, and as we were with Terry Date, I'm listening to all these bands that he recorded, and he's telling me all these crazy stories, and he's recorded everyone, you know, from Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, White Zombie, Deftones, like all of them. They've all recorded with him, and now you have that guy at the helm of your record. Right. So when you're like, is this cool? And it's something you weren't necessarily comfortable with one record ago, but Terry is like, yeah, man, that's a badass part you did there. You're immediately like, all right, I'll take your word for it. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Then knowledgeable ears at the helm.
Yeah,
very cool. So yeah, what's next after you guys get off this? Where are you winding up?
We do Houston tomorrow, and then we're going to drive all the way home to Ohio. But like I said, we've been on tour since April, so we're going to take a much-needed little break. We're going to do Knotfest out in San Bernardino, play with Slipknot for the first time, so that's pretty awesome. We're going to do Louder Than Life Fest. Our day is headlined by Judas Priest. That's in Louisville, I believe. And then we're going to do Koi Festival up in Canada. Unfortunately, at the time of this interview, those are the only things announced. So that's all I'm allowed to say.
Well, I'm sure
more cool stuff coming.
Website, right?
More cool stuff coming. Keep checking online.
Parting words for the people out there in internet land.
Thanks for picking up our record if you have. Pick it up if you haven't. It's called Rise of the Lion. It's awesome. Don't hurt yourself when you're headbanging to it.
There you have it. You heard it here first.